Hello, everyone. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloe in Abuja. Tonight, a lot to talk about, just as always on this program. We have so much that we planned for you for tonight. So part of it is the fact that APC is holding governorship primaries in 3 states, Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State. We'll be giving you some updates coming in from those areas tonight. Of course, we understand that Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, since emerged as the flag bearer of the party in the state, will be bringing you updates on that. Plus, there is an emergence of a coalition group who say that they are a group of members, new and old members for the 10th National Assembly, and they say they will be working together for to decide on who becomes the next leader or the speaker of the 10th National Assembly. All of these we'll be discussing tonight. Don't forget a supplementary election is going to be holding in several states of the Federation tomorrow, and INEC will be doing its best to fix some of the problems that it has seen over the last weeks when it conducted the general election. So we bring you updates and preparations ahead of that election and some of the concerns that have been raised. But first and foremost, let's check out your political roundup stories.
Good evening. I am Kayla Megwa, and these are your political roundup stories for today. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Adamawa State says voting will only take place in 69 polling units in 47 wards and 19 local government areas in the state in this Saturday's supplementary election, contrary to reports that the commission had added more polling units for supplementary elections in the state. The state resident electoral commissioner, Mr. Hudu Ari, confirmed this to journalists during the distribution of electoral materials at the state office of the commission in Yola. At hand to monitor the process are election observers and members of the state chapter of the Interparty Advisory Council.
All the security situation have been beefed up, and we don't have any much security threats.
In Rivers State, preparations are in top gear for the 2 House of Representatives seats. The electoral umpire has dispatched several electoral materials to the affected areas. The areas include 42 units in Ward 4 and 7, Kana local government area for Kana Federal Constituency, and 377 polling units in Ward 5, 10, and 18 in Port Harcourt City local government area for the Port Harcourt 2 Federal Constituency. The state resident electoral commissioner, Mr. John Aladibo, and the national commissioner in charge of Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Rivers State, May Agbamuche Mbu, supervised the exercise at the state INEC head office. Also present are the state collation agents for the PDP, SDP, and APC, while the Labour Party, Accord Party, and others are conspicuously absent. In the southeast state of Imo, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says all is set for the conduct of Saturday's supplementary elections holding in some parts of the state. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Owerri, the Imo State capital, the resident electoral commissioner, Professor Sylvia Ago, appeals to politicians in the state to allow the process run smoothly without interference. The Abia State Governor-elect, Mr. Alex Oti, has inaugurated the State Transition Council, saddled with the responsibility of forming policy documents that will forge a direction and developmental agenda ahead of his formal inauguration to office on May the 29th, 2023. Speaking during the inaugural ceremony in Aba, Mr. Oti said unilateral action became necessary as he's prepared to run a transparent and inclusive government.
I'm saying that people should not bother if they're expected to make the transition council and they're not appointed. There's a list for those who were appointed to be appointed.
The youth group in the People's Democratic Party, the PDP Young Democrats, wants the National Secretary of the party, Mr. Sam Anyanwu, to resign his position as the National Secretary of the party, having won the PDP governorship primary in Imo State to avoid future litigations. At a press conference in Abuja, a member of the group, Mr. Anthony Ehilebo, says it is wrong for Mr. Anyanwu to continue his position as National Secretary, as this is against justice and fair play. On the just concluded 2023 general election, the group is also asking the national leader leadership of the PDP to review the party's performance in the last election across the states of the Federation and identify members who jeopardize the collective efforts of the party in the election for appropriate disciplinary action.
We want Senator Ayawu to go to Imo State and win that state. And we don't want when he wins, by some unfortunate mistake, we will have litigation issue.
Some civil society organizations under the aegis of the Gender Strategy Advancement International have urged the incoming administration of the president-elect to be more gender-balanced in appointments into his cabinet and offices. They insist women have been almost disenfranchised from the electoral and governance process following the drastic reduction in the number of women who won elections into various positions in the 2023 general elections. The convener of the coalition and executive director of Gender Strategy Advancement International, Adora Onyechere, who addressed the World Press Conference in Abuja, also says without women in positions of authority, the structural barriers against women, like discriminatory laws, gender stereotypes, and violence against women in politics, will continue.
When women are represented in political offices, they can advocate for policies that improve the lives of women and girls. They can push for gender-sensitive policies and women in parliament and governance.
A social-political group under the aegis of Middle Belt Patriotic Forum is asking the All Progressives Congress to zone the Senate presidency position of the 10th National Assembly to the southeastern region of the country, as this could facilitate national cohesion. At a press briefing in Abuja, the leader of the group, Mr. Okolo Ogbaji, also threw his weight behind Senator Osita Izunazo as Senate president, a lawmaker whom they described as the oldest senator from the region. They say his emergence as the Senate president will enable the All Progressives Congress get a foothold in the southeast geopolitical zone. Support groups for the president-elect, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have recommended James Faleke for the position of Chief of Staff in the presidency, and Senator Barau Jibrin, representing Kano North Senatorial, as president of the Senate. While expressing confidence that the executive arm is in good hands under the president-elect, they believe the Senate must also have good leadership. They say their choice of nomination is centered on experience, track record, and commitment to service. While expressing optimism that their candidates will clinch those seats, they call on the president to ensure a smooth transition on May the 29th, 2023.
Senator Jibrin has the required experience for this office. He has been a member of the Senate since 2015 and has held critical positions within the Senate.
And those are your political roundup stories for today.
Thank you so much, everyone. There you have it. Some of your stories coming from across the states of the Federation. Then you are up to date. Let's tell you what the Archbishop Emeritus of the Catholic Diocese of Abuja, Cardinal John Onayeka, said. He said it is impossible to plan and execute interim government secretly among a minute group of persons in the country. At an event to inaugurate the Wukari Diocese in Wukari Local Council of Taraba State, he urged that the DSS revelation that there are plotters to that effect should not disturb Nigerians because Nigeria has not gotten to the stage of interim governance. He's of the opinion that courts should pass their verdicts on any election matter before swearing in of winners be allowed to take place across the country. Take a listen to Archbishop Cardinal John Onayeka.
According to our electoral law, there is provision for going to court if any political party is not satisfied with the results declared by INEC. It is part of the Nigerian Constitution and electoral law. And Nigerians should please not forget that this Nigerian electoral law makes provision for people to take their grievances to court. And we often say, don't go violent. Don't carry your anger to the streets shouting. Don't carry guns and make noise and kill people like they killed sometime in this country. Let's not forget that there were people who lost election and organized killings. And we say, don't do that. Instead, go to court. And from what I can say, I think we ought to appreciate and commend the political forces who have been declared losers, who have prepared, who are better, who preferred, who have decided to go to court. Now, this is where the problem is. If you say that the election result is not final until the courts have declared it, because that is what it comes to. It means that we should not think that because INEC has declared, therefore it is done. No. They said if INEC declares and you have reasons not to want it, go to.
That's the clergyman there, Archbishop Onayekon. Now, we told you, we had a discussion yesterday and the preparations for the APC governorship primaries that held today in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa State. But what we know for today is that in Kogi State, we're seeing, because it's a direct mode of primary, so we're seeing in some places where voters and members of the APC queued up and where they have been able to exercise their civic responsibility as members of the party. And you can see the official counting members who are on the queue there.
47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64, 65, 67,
That is what is happening in some parts, or what happened in some parts of Kogi State. But in other parts of Kogi State, we've seen agitations. Those who are upset and unhappy with the situation will say they are not able to exercise their civic responsibility as members of the APC to vote for the choice of the governorship candidate of the APC in Kogi State. They are expressing their grievances, some of them raising their registration or their party registration identity slips there. So some of them are claiming that there are parallel conduct of the exercise in some part of Kogi State.
And I want the government...
But let's take you now to Imo State, where, of course, we saw the exercise held, but it was only one candidate that was on the bill, which is the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma. After all said and done, the winner or the candidate was announced by the official who was coordinating the election, the governorship primaries in Imo State.
Broadcast 63,618. With the collated result, the scores for Senator Hope Uzodinma, who is the sole candidate, by virtue of your unanimous acceptance of his good performance in the state, therefore scored 63,618 votes.
The delegates from the 205 wards in Imo State and all our party members who came out this morning stood under the sun, waited patiently, voted in compliance with the provisions of Nigerian Electoral Act as amended and the guidelines produced by our great party. I want to congratulate all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
The victory of today's event is a victory that is dedicated to God Almighty. And a victory that I will cherish a long, long, long way. For me, I see it as a mark of confidence from the members of our great party and the entire Igbo people at large.
All right, Governor Hope Uzodinma, who emerged as the candidate of the APC in Imo State. Of course, the exercise in Bayelsa State, which we are following for you, is not concluded, as we are hoping that the result will be announced tomorrow after the exercise held in several parts of the state. Let's tell you that supplementary elections will hold in several parts of the country tomorrow. Governorship supplementary elections will hold in Adamawa and Kebbi State, and there are 34 House of Reps seats to be filled in the tomorrow exercise across the several federal constituency where elections were not concluded the last time. And for the Senate seat, of course, there are 8 seats to be concluded across the different. So you can see in all of the states and the number of seats that are up for contest tomorrow. Is INEC really ready for this exercise? What are the lessons to be learned from what happened in the last elections? Let's get some views and perspectives from Hamzat Lawal, who is the chief executive of Connected Development, one of those who monitored the elections of 2023 and the 25th of February and March the 11th. Thank you so much, Hamzat, for joining us tonight. What are your expectations? But for what you heard, I know you are in the Lesser Hajj in Saudi Arabia, but I know that some of your team are on the ground. Give us an understanding of what you are hearing in respect of tomorrow's exercise in several parts of the country.
Well, thank you very much, Sean, for having me. CODE will deploy observers to the states where supplementary elections are holding tomorrow. And what we're hearing, citizens are actually excited, and they're glad that INEC actually declared some of these results inconclusive and have decided to ensure that there are supplementary elections. And knowing that there will be no much pressure but on INEC, but on security and also the electorate. And we've also been monitoring charters of what politicians are saying, but at the ruling and the opposition front. So it's going to be an exciting and peach-free election. So INEC have also given us confidence that the beavers would be deployed. Some materials have been deployed to the RAC centers, and that they're going to ensure that the beavers function at optimal performance, and the IREF also platform would be ready to upload results in real time.
So there are 2 governorship elections hanging, Kebbi and Adamawa State. The controversies that are being generated, the comparison between what happened in Kaduna, what happened in Ogun and in some parts of the country, and those who say, why are these cases different? The argument of those who think, look, there are validly potential votes in those areas which are more than the number of votes that have been cancelled in those elections. And on what grounds will INEC say there will be supplementary election? But it does look to me that the vehicle has moved past that bus stop. INEC will conduct elections in those states. But, how do you perceive the outcome, the turnout of voter for tomorrow's exercise based on what voter generally saw in the governorship and in the National Assembly and the presidential election?
Well, in terms of voter turnout, we're optimistic that a lot of people will come out tomorrow because these elections are closer to the grassroots. These are people who would represent their various constituencies, and this is going to be the chief implementer of the states. That's the 2 states that supplementary election would hold for the executive governors. And Sean, these politicians are speaking from a position of selfishness and interest. And I wouldn't want to dwell on, the technicalities on that and why INEC resolved on their position. But for me, as an election observer and deploying one of the largest boots on the ground, we're not keen on the results. We're actually keen on the process, and this process would inform what becomes the outcome. And so that we'll not be mad with a lot of litigation, and then so that the Nigerian people can start trusting the independent electoral body and believing in our electoral system and leadership recruitment processes. But for tomorrow, we're very optimistic that people are actually going to come out to vote because it was a lot of time for mobilization, for sensitization, and reorganizing both for political party, for the electoral empire, and also for security agencies. I also know that the joint security agencies have also given vote of confidence that there will be a lot of deployment of security personnel, and they would curtail any foreseen violence or any form of interference by any political talk or anybody who wants to mar the process. So we're very confident of this process tomorrow, and particularly the key stakeholders that would make it possible, particularly the electorate.
Let's take a look at Adamawa, Kebbi State. And if you look at what we saw, this race, this contest was basically between, in Adamawa State, between the incumbent governor, Ahmadu Fintiri, and Ms. Aishatu Binani. Look at that contest ahead of tomorrow, and perhaps the kind of tension we saw ahead of just going to be in about 96 or so polling units where the polls are going to be conducted in Adamawa State. Look at the terrain, look at the kind of conversations that have been held, and look at the potentials of if the election goes either way, what are the possibility, or what are you seeing generally in terms of what is in the horizon, not only for the people of Adamawa State, but for our political climate generally?
Well, you see, Adamawa is really interesting. One, because when you look at insurgency in the Northeast, Adamawa is one state that have actually done well in countering insurgency, but also building back, better from the effects of the insurgency. Yes, we know that for gender advocate, they're excited about tomorrow. They want to see it sway, where we would have probably the first female elected governor of a state in Nigeria. But I think again, we can't be emotional about these things. And if you when you look at the analysis and look at which persons or which of the opposite side stronghold are this elections going to happen, it's relatively clear that it would sway one way. A winner would be declared for sure. But again, for us, we want to be we are more keen on looking at the processes. I also think that for our security agency, particularly the anti-corruption agency, they need to be on high alert. We know that they're going to be a lot of voter inducements tomorrow. Even from our pre-election assessment reports, it has shown that a lot of people, and the fact that the court has also ruled that we can use the old Naira note. So there'll be a lot of cash exchanging hands tomorrow, and they have to be on high alert to arrest people and also ensure that people are able to exercise their franchise without being induced or swayed by any material.
Just about 32,000 or thereabout votes between Binani and Ahmadu Fintiri, which, of course, will be a matter to be resolved at the polls tomorrow. But if you look at Kebbi State, going into this election, there are just about 10 incumbent governors who have their hat in the ring and were seeking re-election. One already in Zamfara State has lost the election. Adamawa is one of those states of the final state where we will see whether or not the man is able to retain his seat. But look at Kebbi. We had an incumbent governor perhaps who also wanted to become a senator, which hasn't happened. But look at Sokoto State, for example. The 3 senatorial districts will be conducting election, and about 11 federal House of Reps seats are also up for contest. That is going to be another hotbed. Hotbed in the sense that something to look out for. It's been notorious in the past elections, but the rec there was suspended. In view of the scenario that played out in Sokoto, for example, what are your expectations?
Well, I think this is where we need to commend INEC. Yes, during the February 25th elections, from the outcome of the process, a lot of us were aggrieved because INEC did not meet some of the expectations and promises they have made. But I think this is where you need to commend INEC, and this is where this is where it has shown that INEC has ensured that no one tried to interfere with their electoral work. Ensuring that the will of the Nigerian people actually prevailed. Yes, Sokoto is one state to look out for, particularly around electoral violence and post-election violence, particularly when the results have been declared. We know that there are 2 strong men there who are trying to hold forth, but I believe these 2 strong men need to understand that what we've learned from these elections are they're not strong men. It is the strong people with their permanent voters that determines the outcome. And the case of KB State also, they are not strongmen. The electorate will decide. And beavers, and which is the game changer. Why all of them are having nightmares or headache right now is the fact that beavers, have changed the entire game, where every vote actually counts. If before now, what we see are, people manually writing results, and even before elections hold, they've declared a winner. So what is happening now is INEC is actually holding forth and ensuring that, there'll be a fair play and the electorate will decide ultimately who becomes the winner. But I think also, and this is a message to the political actors, it's about the people, and you say you want to serve. And if the people have decided that you're not the one or the favorite person they want them to serve them, accept it. Or if you find any grievance, go through the judicial channel and seek redress. So again, to security agencies, particularly in Sokoto State, because we saw what played hand and why, INEC actually halted the election and agreed for supplementary election, particularly post-election and when results start trickling in Sokoto State. It's one state that security forces have to be on high alert, particularly.
On a final note, Hamzat, give us an understanding. There are a lot of those who are disappointed in INEC. INEC tried to redeem its image in the governorship election. Whether or not people were impressed by the outcome of the governorship election is up to Nigerians who are the judge to be able to determine that. But give Nigerians an understanding of the expectations on INEC. In which three areas do you think INEC must rise up to the occasion for tomorrow?
One is logistics, and we've seen that they've actually done well with the governorship and state assembly elections. Two is how they're able to also train their personnel, because one thing I saw is, some of the ad hoc staff and, some of the ad hoc staff and presiding officers were not well equipped and trained. And three is responsiveness. INEC needs to be more responsive. Before the elections, INEC were really responsive in sharing information, de-escalating fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. But you see, Sheon, if we choose to accept it or not, we've made progress. And we must commend INEC. Yes, we're not happy, but we need to separate the person from the institution. We need to continue to commend the women and men that have given their time and effort and sacrifice for where we are in our democracy. Come on, Sheon, when you look at election in 2003, in 2007, 2011, when you look at elections in 2023, we've actually made significant progress. Yes, we're not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. And this is also a critical moment for the 10th National Assembly. We must set an agenda where they need to look at, from the lessons and the gap we've experience from this election, what do we need to amend and how do we need to strengthen INEC as an institution to be more responsive, but particularly to be transparent and accountable in the resources that the Nigerian people have committed to them.
Hamzat Lawal, let me allow you to continue your religious obligation there in Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much indeed for your thought. We hope that tomorrow will go very well and all these elections will be concluded once and for all tomorrow. Thank you so much indeed, Hamzat Lawal, Chief Executive of Connected Development. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Sheon. Peace be unto you.
We take a break, everyone, and when we return, it's the very interesting and intriguing leadership politics of the National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly. We understand now that there is a coalition group across the different political parties. For the first time, we are hearing that the different political parties, the majority and the minority parties, are coming together to form a coalition. What does this mean? You heard also where Femi Gbajabiamila says he doesn't have an anointed speaker for 10th National Assembly. We'll be getting insight from these lawmakers who say from the new and the old bloc, they're coming together. What does this mean? They say they want to zone. From which zone exactly? We'll be hearing more after the break.
You like it? I love it. So let's get down to business.
You mean trying to spot too? What is this? That's a personal account. That is still me. I mean, want to transfer all these millions into your personal account. I mean, I supply the movers and shakers of society. I mean, I do things properly. If you do not have a bank account in your business name, I cannot trust you. Better go visit moneypoint.com. Open a business account in your business name. Then me and you go fit talk.
Which one be this money point, say?
Whatever it takes to make sure you have a business account opened in your business name, we'll do it as your sure banker.
But why didn't Morifa tell me about Money Point earlier? Where's Morifa?
Open a bank account in your business name with Money Point.
My name is School Fred Jeremy Pats. I'm one of the empowered beneficiaries. The name of school I'm here is Government School, Abia Ponkap, Aburukala Government, Akwa Ibom State. I'm a young graduate since 2015. I was after the service. Since that 2015, I went to service 15, finished by 2016. I was looking for a job. I would meet some different firms where they cannot accept me. So I was now looking for other small business to do. I just heard the information on it that the president is doing it to have 1 million youth to empower. It was online registration. After that, you upload everything through net. At the end of it now, they shortlisted me. So I went for physical verification. After that, they are now giving me the post to propose me to my primary assignment, which is here.
Experience the opulence and security of Swiss Trade Doors. With over 30 years experience, exclusive with a touch of history and craftsmanship, Swiss Trade Doors are made from the finest ancient aga and ivory wood. A range of exclusive armored doors, elegant interior doors, carefully crafted by world-renowned architects and engineers. At Swiss Trade, a door is much more, plus premium quality onyx stones and luxury interiors. Visit Swiss Trade today or call now. Swiss Trade, blend of beauty and security.
Which kind of wire you gon' need to light up your life? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind of cable you gon' need to light up your house? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman bank. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Coleman. Now Coleman be the come and see. Now come and be the bar. Come and won't light up your life. Now come and be the bar. Come and see. Now come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-A. Quality, quality. Durable, oh yeah. Now come and be the barber.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. Tonight, we'll now shift our focus to the politics of the 10th National Assembly. Beyond what you can see or what you can hear are the intrigues and politicking that have really pervaded the political climate in Nigeria across the political parties. The different political leaders are meeting, and the new lawmakers are also aligning, and forces are coming together and forming. Now we are understanding that there is a coalition that is coming together between the old bloc and the new bloc. They're forming a coalition to unite on the way forward for the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. Tonight, I have two very experienced lawmakers. I have Honorable Kingsley Chinda, who is a member of the House of Representatives from Rivers State, a member of the PDP, is live for us virtually in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, and of course, I have Honorable Ishaka, a member of the House of Representatives from Ogun State, a member of the APC. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Pleasure being your guest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Let me go to Honorable Chinda first and foremost. How are things? Because I know you and your colleagues have been on the streets of Port Harcourt over the last few days. You said you want to be vigilant. That's as much as Governor Wiki has said. You guys said you wanted to be vigilant and so that you are not tricked one more time. Those are the words from your party. Are you guys still on the street?
We are out of the street. We have started receiving the certified true copies, all the parties, and that's one of our prayers, that all the parties must be given the same document so that we will not be fooled a second time. No individual should go into INEC and then attempt to alter the document as APC wanted to do.
You had a feeling APC wanted to alter the document?
It has happened before, not just that I have a feeling. As late brother, the sage, said, first fool, no be fool. Second fool, na proper foolish. We have had that experience in Rivers State, and that's why we wouldn't want that to be repeated.
What exactly is going on? There was a media chat Governor Wike addressed, and it's gotten a lot of reaction, especially from Senator Dino Melaye. You heard what he said.
I think that what Wike said has been properly confirmed and affirmed by even co-guides, that's those from Kogi State, that there is need for our party to do the proper thing, allow free and fair primaries so that candidates that will emerge will be candidates from the people, not candidate that is imposed on the party. If we do otherwise, then that is a recipe for failure. And of course, I know that some persons might not even be interested in the success of the party, but what they will get out of it. That is the alarm that Governor Wike raised, and I think is very germane.
But you heard the response of Senator Melaye towards that. What's your take on that?
Well, the response to me is without substance. So what do I talk about? Do I talk about the fact that Wike in the past assisted him when he attempted to run the elections? Or do I talk about his rantings about Wike as a person, leaving the issues on ground, whether there should be proper primaries or a skewed list should be used for primaries? Those are the germane issues to discuss. I don't think he addressed them.
Let me bring you to the conversation for tonight. Those are just on site. I'm hearing that in fact, there was a statement that was released that about 283 lawmakers-elect and governors have endorsed a new forum for what you call joint task for a united and progressive Nigeria. I was slightly amused when I heard that, because I know politicians don't come together if there is no unity of demands and supply. You know what I mean. When you see APC and PDP joining forces and governors across the board joining forces, there is something really in the offing. What is in the offing, Honorable?
Well, clearly, it's the interest of Nigeria, and like you rightly said in your earlier program, the politics of the country is changing, and it will be foolhardy for you not to realize that. You must begin to be more serious if you actually want to serve your people. You must begin to realize that they are the king, and then the issues of bickering amongst parties should be lowered, and the interests of Nigeria should be put forward. For those of us that are in parliament, we think that we should put the interests of this country first and ensure that we do our work to the best of our ability. It is not something new. The joint tax is in existence in the House, even as we speak. If you watch closely behind the speaker, I'm sure you will see that symbol, joint tax. And what it means simply is that we shouldn't allow different party ideologies, if we have any in the country, or party affiliations to erode the overall and more important interest of the country. And then one of the things we have looked at is what are the standard parliamentary practices all over? Do we allow zoning? What is the provision of our law? If you look at Section 14 of the Constitution, which talks about the issue of federal character, you also realize that even our fathers, when they crafted the Constitution, agreed to the fact that if zoning is done and done properly, that it will foster unity, it will foster progress, it will give everybody a sense of belonging. And that is exactly what we have agreed as parliamentarians across board.
So let's get it right. So you have listed how many political parties now to count? You have listed the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, the NNPP, SDP, ABGA, ADC, YPP. Are these political parties that you mentioned in this press statement, are they officially, as a political party, agreed to work together? Or these are just members on their own who are willing to work together? You said there are 283 of them.
Members represent political parties. So I would not say that the political parties have agreed, but members across these political parties have agreed to work together. That's the essence, and then that's the content of that release. I wouldn't say political parties because the national chairman or the entire NWC of the political parties have not committed to this, in as much as some of them, yes, are in support, but the party as a political party, I would not say that. But members across these political parties have come together to agree on the need for us to place our country first.
Let me come to Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka. So this is, I would say this is perhaps the very first time that this agreement, even before APC could put it out in order, is a sort of alignment. But who is spearheading this alignment?
Thank you very much, Sheung. As you listen to Honorable Chinda, probably because this is the first time a thing like this will come to the public space, I want you to know that joint task should be about 4 years old now in the House of Representatives.
Spearheaded by Femi Gbajabiamila.
No, it was a collective decision of members. And of course...
But that's what Femi Gbajabiamila tagged his leadership.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. But members from the other political parties may decide they will not be part of it. But you can see, thank God they have always been coming to the National Assembly. They've always been coming to the House of Representatives. And you can see the cohesion. And that is the same thing that has been brought to fore. Now, again, that is a kind of continuity into what has been established. So we met ourselves and we said, okay, look, this, irrespective of our tendencies, what has come to stay in the House of Representatives, it is time for it to continue. And that's exactly what is happening. So it is in the interest of the nation, just as Honorable Shinda said. There's no any individual parochial interest anywhere other than that, okay, yeah, we've always been coming together in the House of Representatives.
Can we trust you politicians on what? When you guys say that it's in the interest of Nigeria, then we now have things to fear, to be worried about, because we know that first and foremost, it is in the nature. They say the first thing a politician do is to do the selfish thing first before thinking about representation. So, it's good to hear, and it's very exciting to hear that you want to put national interests forth. But we know that your interests also are involved in this. Who are the ones spearheading this move?
Like I said, I don't think, even though those that have been elected so far, I'm telling you, there is no 26-year-old person among us. So we're all matured. We have seen ourselves, we have seen that, okay, what we started, what we've been doing in the 9th Assembly should continue in the 10th Assembly. You cannot categorically even force anyone.
What some people refer to rubber stamp reasoning.
In the House of Representatives?
That's what your critics have said.
Well,
there is somewhat a rubber stamp of the executive.
If you give me a particular example, because I've been a major player in the House of Representatives, and if anyone says under the leadership of Femi Gbajabiamila, Wase, and of course other leadership members, that the House is a rubber stamp, that's, how do I place it? Rubber stamp 360 members, and then the entire 360 members will be rubber stamped almost every time at a time. Excuse me, Sheung, that's not possible.
No, it's up to you. The onus is on you to be able to defend how you guys are not rubber stamped to the executive.
I'm defending before you give an example, and I'm going to give you an example.
Because that's not our focus. If you go there, we might all night we might be debating that.
I'm ready.
But that's not our major focus.
I'm ready for you.
I will give you examples of where Nigerians say, oh, these guys are plainly rubber stamp. But let's put that aside.
I said I'm ready for you if you want that.
That's not the focus.
Okay.
We will derail. But I want us to focus on our conversation
let's
for
go
tonight,
ahead, please,
which is the leadership of the National Assembly.
Go ahead.
So if you say the joint task, which has been the task for the leadership of the present National Assembly, it then means that Idris Wase is the choice of this coalition, isn't it?
For how would you say that?
Because he's part of the leadership presently.
It's part of the leadership. What we are talking about is that APC, as a party, the National Working Committee, of course, you know, the decision makers of the party, they are yet to zone where the speakership will go. And we are waiting. If it's zoned to where Idris Wase is, all well and good.
In the collective interest of this coalition.
Yeah.
So the coalition is called the Joint Task Coalition.
Exactly.
Is that what it's called?
Exactly.
In the collective interest of this coalition, where do you guys think the zoning should be for the speaker?
We have not even thought about that because it is the party, APC, that's going to decide that. Because
you don't want to advise the APC?
We can, well, we have our leadership too. We have the speaker, we have the deputy speaker, just as you have said, who are often called to join them at the leadership meeting of the party. So whatever decision, the direction they take, our own for now is to make sure we harvest all common minds in the House of Representatives, those that have been elected, those that are still having their elections outstanding, so that will come together. Whatever the party says, all of us will now move.
But do you guys agree that there should be zoning?
Of course, yes.
Where should the zoning stem from? Because if you look at the president-elect, the vice president-elect, the Senate president, the deputy, usually there's always a thinking around if you zone from that angle, it has to dovetail and affect. So you see number 1, the number 2 man, the number 3, the Senate president, the number 4 man, the speaker. Is that how you guys are saying? Some say the 1999 template.
Well, I don't want us to refer to whatever any template, because as far as I'm concerned, and the majority, and in fact all of us, the 283, we believe and we know and convinced that our party is not so much particular about whether an individual, for now, it is about how we're going to balance the equation on ground, how the party, irrespective of whether religious or ethnic or whatever, that is not what we're after. What we're after is a party, APC, who has majority and who's, by the grace of God, the ruling party in the next dispensation. All of them will take a decision, take a direction, and make sure that everybody, all the regions and religious tendencies we have in the country are taken into consideration and then put a zone to where it should be appropriately placed.
So your group has not decided on the zone?
No, we are not.
And you don't want to advise because you say you have members not only in your party but in other political parties.
Exactly.
They must have opinion and ideas on what the zoning should look like, don't they?
For now, that one common voice in the 10th Assembly, that's what we are particular about. And that APC, wherever they zone, whichever direction the party takes about who becomes the speaker, who becomes the deputy speaker as per the zones, then we are moving en masse to support such a person.
Let me bring him back, Honorable Chinda. You say in that statement, 283 members, new and old members, are on the same page with you. Out of the 326 that have been confirmed elected. So you have just about 43 that are not with you. So you have those who do not believe in the Joint Task Coalition agenda. What are they telling you? Why are they not agreeing with you?
Well, Shehu, you also realize that we have not met completely 100% of the members, and some are yet to come in, perhaps by tomorrow. There are those that perhaps have not given express buy-in into it. And there are those that have given their buy-in into the idea. But I believe that every reasonable member will buy into the move for a peaceful house, the move for a peaceful nation. Let me also say clearly, do not mistake that for the fact that, oh, there will be no opposition and all that. No, that's not true. The opposition party will still stand and carry out her function as opposition party to ensure that people-oriented programs are implemented, and also to make sure that the government is on her toes to comply with sections 88 and 89 of the Constitution. So that will not in any way erode the function of the opposition. But first and foremost, what we are saying is that we will allow the majority party, as is parliamentary practice, to take the step. And we expect that in compliance with section 14.3 of the Constitution, that they will do so considering federal character for purposes of peace and inclusiveness in the country.
Honorable, confirm to us if it's true that part of the agreement to work together with the APC on this is that you will become the next minority leader. Is that true?
That is not true. It is not part of the agreement. There is no agreement that has been reached. I will say so clearly. But that does not rule out the fact that if members decide that I should be minority leader, that it will be tied to this. Far from it. Minority leadership will be determined by members of the minority party. Joint tax is an amalgam of all the parties in parliament. So I don't think that that information is anywhere near the truth.
Well, is the information coming from the National Assembly corridors and from what the new members and old members are saying? Also, there are those who are saying that there are some handshake, which of course, what has led to those handshake is the agreement on some parameters. What are the parameters?
Like I have rightly said, I've told you earlier, one, we need peace. We need understanding. We want our country to continue to progress. We'll give the incoming government an opportunity to take off smoothly. And we don't want crisis in the National Assembly. Let the government take off. Nigerians are yearning for good governance. We do not want anybody to give any excuse for not doing the right thing. And what we have said is, let us allow the majority party to decide on the issue of zoning. Once that is done, everybody who is interested from that zone is free to go into the field and begin to ask for support of members. But we think that if we comply with zoning strictly, it will help to foster peace, it will help to ensure that there is inclusiveness in the system. No region will feel left out.
So this inclusion you are talking about, Honorable Chinda, which zone do you think will be fair, and do you think if it goes to that zone, justice will be served?
We have already asked the leadership of the APC to take that decision. So it will also not be fair for you to try to elicit an answer to that question from me.
So because I know that as an experienced lawmaker, Honorable, that
decision,
you do have your opinion on what you think would be a fair deal for any part of the country. And so that's what I'm asking. Are you guys just saying whatever APC says?
And I have already taken a position on this.
Yeah, so are you saying that whatever APC says to you guys, you are going to take it hook, line, and sinker, even if it doesn't look fair and doesn't look justified in the reasoning of an average reasonable person on the street?
APC, members of APC are reasonable persons on the street. So I don't think that they will take a decision that will be seen by an average person not to be fair. What we have agreed is that we'll give them the opportunity to determine the issues of zoning. And once that is done, members will comply with it. Compliance being that we expect that members from that zone will be given an opportunity. Let me also tell you, Sheon, if we do not do this, there is also the likelihood that at the end of the day, almost all the offices could go to one particular zone And people will tell you that, well, they were democratically elected. But we know that those from other zones that are left out will not feel satisfied. It will give problem in the system. It will continue to heat up the polity. What we are talking about is justice. We want this country to begin to progress. Let it not start from the National Assembly. Let it be that we have done what we ought to do. When we get into the nitty-gritty of our work, opposition will stand firm and do her work, to be critical, constructively critical, and not just to criticize this time, but criticize and also profile an alternative.
Honorable, so I asked that question, of course, because I know that usually politicians take the issue of political expediency over national interest a lot of the times, and they have been heavily criticized for these. And so there is what is politically expedient and is what is morally acceptable. And so that is the reason why I'm asking, if you ask some APC leaders, they will tell you that they will first of all consider what is perhaps the politics or the political expedient issues to determining who will be the presiding officers of the National Assembly as against what is popular out there in favor of zoning. So that's why I'm asking. So even if it's not a popular decision coming from the APC, does it mean that this joint task coalition, we go with that? Is that what you're saying tonight?
So why don't you allow that decision to be taken before we can then determine whether it is popular or not? Joint task has decided that the majority party should be allowed to zone the offices, and members from that zone should be given the opportunity to run, while members from outside the zone should please allow that decision to stand in the interest of peace. That's a simple decision.
No, so you know, it's a political answer. Are you a politician?
I don't want us to.
It's a political answer, and I'm not surprised that you're giving me that answer because you are a politician, honorable. So there are those things that
you are a better politician than myself.
No,
the way you ask your
I am a watcher. I'm always on the sideline watching what you guys do and reporting it. But the question is this: a lot of conversation about our politics and about our national development that a lot of Nigerians are involved with only by what they think and what they discuss or what they say, but they do not have as much impact. And that's why we are having this conversation. If it's in the interest of the people, why are you not talking about it? And I've given you that debate and that school of thought that some leaders in the APC think that they will consider the politics, those who gave them the vote, the region that favored them, that allowed them to win, other than zoning. So, and I'm asking you, as a member of the opposition, if the APC gives you a position that is against morally acceptable standard, that is more or less a politically expedient decision, is that what you guys will be going for, yes or no?
You have already answered that question. If you are giving me a position that is morally unacceptable by Nigerians, the entire 360 members of the House should say no. But for now, we have agreed that we allow you the opportunity to take that position, and we believe that you will do the right thing. We believe that you will comply with the issues of federal character, because that is the spirit behind the decision.
All right, we're due for a break in a moment before I come back to Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka. But let me know, you said that how many governors now? You said 14 APC governors, 9 PDP governors, as well as NWC members of the ruling party and opposition political parties are on this project. You've gotten their blessings. Which of the PDP governors have given their blessings? Because I know that the APC, naturally, they are the majority. But which of them? Because you're a leader in the PDP.
Like we told you, the number of governors that have given their blessings, and I can tell you that it's increasing.
Who are they? Who are they, Honorable? We know the numbers. You've told us the numbers, but who are they?
To you, let me be straight with that. But we'll keep talking to them. And I tell you, a lot of our leaders are beginning to see the need for the Nigerian project to succeed. Let me also try to erase that impression of politicians not being straightforward, not thinking about the nation, thinking about themselves first. Politics is a serious business and it's for serious-minded persons. And I personally believe that a politician should be a role model in society. Mean everything you say and say only things you mean. The way they look at pastors, the way you look at imams, that's how you should look at politicians in the society. And I believe that we can change this society. That kind of impression sometimes sends goose pimple down my entire system, and I don't like it. Politicians are not criminals. They are not common thieves. They are not people that you cannot trust. Trust us on it. The intention of joint tax is sincerely to ensure that there is peace, that we take off peacefully, and that we do the right thing. If at any point in time anything is going wrong, Nigerians are out there who will also need to come back, take a look at it again, and take a decision in the interest of Nigerians.
Maybe you guys need to do more, because if there is a public perception of politicians from the people's point of view, then we need a lot of role models within the political space to convince Nigerians that truly politicians are out for the interest of the masses. But guess what? It's one of the perceptions.
I don't agree with you, Les. You're correct. I agree that we need to do more. But we also need to be encouraged to do more.
That's why we're encouraging you. And each time we're asking you, we want frank. We want politicians who will be able to speak truth, even when it is not comfortable or when it's not convenient. But we'll take a break, Honorable, and when we come back, I'll be asking a bit of some inconvenient and uncomfortable questions about this agenda, which in the first place, when I read it yesterday, I had my reservations based on my experience covering this bit. But we'll take a break, and the two very experienced lawmakers will be telling us more about this Joint Task Coalition and what it means for the entire nation. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
My name is Architect Adeyemi Makinde, Project Director, Adron Homes and Properties Limited. I'd like to introduce to you our latest housing product, the Oremi series. This product is designed with a concept of encouraging communal living amongst residents living within the same environment. We have the 2-bedroom bungalow units called Oremi, 3-bedroom bungalow unit called Oremi Atata, and we have 3-bedroom duplex units called Oremi Gongon. Join us and key into the Oremi series today.
The Oremi series will boast of the following: maximum security with CCTV, swimming pool, playground, recreational area, gym, solar street lights, adequate parking space, excellent infrastructure, well laid out roads and drainage system, plus many more.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable.
Ever since Bolu started using ULesson app, a lot of things has changed in his academic.
As a student, it's not only what you're taught at school that you should rely on. You have to find information in everywhere you can get it. One day I was watching a TV program, the advert of ULesson popped up. It caught my attention. So I downloaded the app. I made my first subscription in year 2020 and it really helped me a lot. My grade has changed, my grade has improved, and made myself the perspective at which I look at things are now different.
I would recommend ULesson to other parents out there and other learners because ULesson app is very, very good and is very, very affordable.
Experience the opulence and security of Swiss Trade Doors. With over 30 years experience, exclusive with a touch of history and craftsmanship, Swiss Trade Doors are made from the finest ancient aga and ivory wood. A range of exclusive armored doors, elegant interior doors, carefully crafted by world-renowned architects and engineers. At Swiss Trade, a door is much more, plus premium quality onyx stones and luxury interiors. Visit Swiss Trade today or call now. Swiss Trade, blend of beauty and security.
Which kind of wire you gonna need to light up your life? quality wire. Now which kind cable you gon' need to light up your house? Coleman quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman tank. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Coleman. Now come and be the bar. Come and see. Now come and be the bar. Coleman won't light up your life. Now come and be the bar. Come and see. Now come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-A. Quality. Durable. Oh yeah. Now come and be the barber.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're talking about the leadership of the 10th National Assembly and its politics. Honorable Kingsley Chinda, a leader in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and a member of the PDP, of course, and from River State, representing the people of River State. And Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka is a member representing Ewekoro for Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives from Ogun State, a member of the APC. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time tonight. Let me come here in the studio. Honorable, give us an understanding of, I asked about the parameters in which you have agreed. When politicians come together, there's an agreement.
The agreement is about the nation. Nothing more than that.
Okay, so...
That's the symbol.
So I know. Okay, you've said that. Put that aside.
I can't put it aside because...
There is a give and take in politics.
Okay, go ahead with all.
And a lot of the times, there are issues that are being discussed in National Assembly politics. The issue of committee headship is usually a give and take.
Okay.
Are those in consideration?
See, we don't... Like I told you, these are men and women of intellectual capacities across this nation who have come together to say, oh yeah, in the interest of the nation, which I want to repeat, in the interest of the nation, drop whatever. Otherwise, a particular candidate would have been mentioned, people would have gone to go and negotiate and say, okay, this is what we are bringing to fore. But no, whatever interests anyone has, drop it. In the interest of the nation, come together.
What is this interest? We have never defined it.
Peace and tranquility in the 10th Assembly, and so that the new government of the day coming in will have the ample opportunity and time to discharge, display, and dividend of democracy without any excuse. Of course, which we know will not come.
Are you and your colleagues ready to do the audacious to impress Nigerians?
It's not out of place. If you say audacious, maybe you need to expand that.
So there was a lawmaker, Honorable Princess Miriam Onoha, from Imo State, who said he was pleading with several of our colleagues who are running, who are in the race for the speakership, telling them to step aside. Do you think that can be an audacious move that will give Nigerians some sense that maybe these lawmakers mean business this time around?
This is not the first time a female will be the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yeah, Patricia Ite was.
Patricia Ite was. And her coming up and throwing her hearts in the ring is something unusual. And as we keep repeating...
But is that a possibility?
If it is zoned there, why not? Other we're after as we speak now.
So zoning is your paramount objective?
In fact, that's the topic for tonight, if that is what you want to hear. And that's why, with due respect to your person, when Honorable Shinda tried to correct you on something, which I'm very sorry, I wouldn't want you to keep repeating, because it became a kind of recurrent decimal. You say if they are morally, if the party is morally acceptable. That's morally acceptable. Acceptability, somehow, please, I wouldn't want, if it is acceptable, it's better. But if you say morally, it means you are insulting everybody.
No. So let's put it right. So there are words that are being used.
We are going to do what is acceptable.
In use of language, if I say morally acceptable, doesn't mean that those who do not accept it are immoral.
Okay.
So let's get it clear.
Okay.
So, and I'll give you an example,
right.
Honorable.
Yeah.
Your party took a decision to go with a Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
Some people disagree with it. But your party thought that it was politically expedient to take that decision based on the politics of Nigeria. Does that make it immoral?
Do we open that again?
No, I'm trying to clarify to you that if your party, and I've given you an example of what the debate has been. There are those who believe, for example, there are those who say if there is a a president-elect from the Southwest, a vice president-elect from the Northeast, has been in the Northeast, then the next person should be from the South. And those are saying from the Southeast or from the South-South should come the Senate president. And politically speaking, you look at your political party, the APC, where did you get the most of your vote? And that is why the argument of those who say Senator Jibril from Kano State should be the next Senate president because the Northwest gave your party a lot of votes. Those who think that it is morally incorrect or unacceptable will think that, well, for zoning and federal character, let it go round. But your party leaders, some of them are saying, no, it is not politically expedient. That is the basis, and that is the crux of the question.
I take that as your defense. So
no, that's not it. I'm not defending. I'm just giving you a clearer picture so that you don't feel offended by the use of language.
Yes, like I said.
So politically expediency and morally acceptability.
It's okay. Once it's not personal to the those that are involved, that's the major players, it's okay by me. If we have said this in the context of, okay, what should play out, okay, and that should be acceptable to all Nigerians, we came to it. And exactly the same topic for tonight. That, okay, look, let us look at, if there are errors, there are mistakes, okay, they should be corrected. And Honorable already told you here that it's not that the coalition means even the opposition will not do their job as it should be. I mean, we are not coming together to say that it's going to be fair for all. We are coming together to say, okay, the party be given the chance, the opportunity. And we all know, those who have accepted this coalition know within themselves that the party will do what is just, what is equitable, and what it will not be, something that will not be repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. Take that home. And that is why we are together.
If that is the objective and that is the outcome, Nigerians are not irresponsible and unreasonable people. But the question is, the reason why we're asking this critical question is because of the interests of Nigerians. If truly these are the interests of Nigerians,
which means you've come on board. There is equilibrium in this coalition and your thoughts.
Well, no, what I'm saying, if that is the reasoning behind the coalition, then I'm saying that Nigerians are not unreasonable and irresponsible not to think about what is not repugnant and what is not against natural justice. So the question now, going from here, is that, is there a possibility of a female speaker?
Why not?
It's possible.
Why not? It's possible. It's possible. But still, the direction... Zoning. Okay.
Zoning is the number one.
Number one. The cardinal, yes.
Who are the APC governors that have given their blessings?
Maybe I'm looking at you one day to join one political party so that you can have insight into so many
Looks like a forbidden fruit for me, because the way you guys play, I'm not sure I have the heart to play politics in this country.
And then you don't complain.
Anyway, I can complain. It's my right to complain.
It's your right.
I'm a citizen.
Of course.
Because I can't play partisan politics doesn't mean that I cannot.
Inalienable rights.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm only telling you that...
Those of you who have the heart, we are made differently. My heart is so fragile that the only thing that I'm tough to do is this journalism, and I'm doing it.
That's your calling.
That's my calling.
Okay.
Those of you who have been called to be politicians, please go ahead and do well.
I had my calling in other areas before now, so it's okay. I don't know where you are going now. Anyway, see, you don't when you have an egg, you don't just hatch it and then be displaying it anyhow. We told you that we are still talking. So it will be too early for you to say, this is the person, that's the person. The PDP, on their side, they are talking, the SDP is talking, NMTP is talking, and what we have told you is that this is for sure, all members involved will still go back to their respective parties and sell this idea of coalition according to Saint Nigeria of today and tomorrow. That's just the reformation we're about.
You're aware of the numbers.
283.
That's what you need. Simple majority.
It's not simple majority. We're still moving.
I'm saying that
still harvesting.
To elect the speaker, you need the simple majority.
To elect the speaker is 181.
That's what you need. And you say you have 283 so far.
That is 90% of...
So you have beyond the numbers.
See, like I said, we are still harvesting. The happiness that is going to be is that even the 43 out there, okay, it's going to be our happiness that all of us are in the same basket and speaking in one voice. And you can see what is happening in the Night Assembly under the leadership of Femi Gbajabiamila now, and of course, Honorable Idris Owase. You practically don't know who is APC, who is PDP, who is from any other political party when it comes to bills, motions. A PDP member will come and meet APC member, please support my motion, give me more ideas. And when it's time even to vote, you see we always vote along the same line of the consideration given to either that motion or the bill. It's not along the political line or ethnicity line or whether somebody is a female or somebody is a male. No, not gender. We don't deal with gender inside that hallowed chambers. We don't deal with religion. We don't deal with ethnicity inside the hallowed chambers. So those three cardinal points and many others is what we have now put together again in one basket, and we call it Coalition for the 10th Assembly.
Honorable Idris Owase is the Deputy Speaker.
Definitely, yes.
And those who think that for some level of equity, maybe he should be given a chance of first refusal.
You see, you have just said something, and I still want to encourage you to key into what this program is like. We said the party. And if we say the party, wherever the party zones to, whoever is aspiring to any certain position definitely would have to take into consideration the conditions attached to it by the party. And at the same time, lobby, which is part of what it should be. If the party zones it to where Right Honorable Idris Owase comes from and is presented by that zone, why not? Is anybody going to say no? But we still remain with this cardinal principle by saying the party, wherever the party zones it to. So if it has to be zoned directly at a person, then such a person should go and align with the party. And of course, the party will take into consideration all other tendencies before a decision is arrived at.
If you look at 2015 and 2019, is your party weary of any possibility of rebellion?
Well, those that did that, you can go back to history as well. Today, I put you in the best of judgment at their position today. See, just this election we just concluded. Look at when we did the primary. Until we have the constitution amended, when you have independent candidacy, you are still standing on the platform of a certain political party. We did the primaries about 9 months even to the election. So a party that carried you like a pregnant woman for 9 months and delivered you, I'm sure, I mean, we're all reasonable and I'm sure everybody will want to key into the tenets or dictates of the party. These are a period of what I would say the time of the unknown.
So your party has learned?
It's not about the party, it's about the individual. The party spoke, but some people decided otherwise. I'm sure that cannot happen.
And they beat the party to it.
And they beat themselves to it now.
All right, let's get back to Honorable Chinda. So, Honorable, when I asked you earlier on that there are those who think that, oh, the reason why the likes of Chinda are spearheading this is because Chinda wants to be the minority leader. And when you said that you don't, that's not the case. There are those who are now saying, oh, maybe you have not learned from what happened to you when you were denied that position of the minority leader. Is that the case?
Again, that's not the case. There's no discussion about minority leadership in the joint tax. That's not for joint tax. That is for the minority caucus. And I also tell you that we also have the minority caucus. At the appropriate time, we will consider the issue of minority leadership And then the APC could also consider our own issue of majority leadership.
But if you are offered the minority leadership, would you take it?
If I'm offered the minority leadership and I look at the circumstances and I'm prepared to carry out that task, of course I will take it. But let me again state clearly, that is not the primary purpose for which I am in the National Assembly. I was elected into House of Representatives to make laws for good governance of this country. And that is my primary assignment. And that is what I'm there to do. So nobody would even come to me to discuss or negotiate the issue of minority leadership as a condition for me to take any position. Shehu, that's not me. And I don't think that anybody will want to do that.
Some of your folks who say that you were beaten in the sense that the presiding officer, Femba Jabiamila, ruled you out and didn't give you a chance. Have you forgiven him?
Well, I had nothing personal against the presiding officer. Of course, I still hold my stand. If we rewind the times back to what happened, I don't think I would take a different position. In fact, I will even better my position. So, but that has nothing to do with Femi Gbajabiamila as a person. And for now, I think that the Nigerian project should take precedence over whatever we are doing. Shehu, also remember, I've been in the parliament for 12 years. This country has invested in me. My constituents expect so much from me. And so I should be a little bit selfless. So when you keep talking about what is the other negotiations and all that, if you're talking about issues of committee leadership will still come from members of the House. You will not be a committee leader in the parliament. What we're saying today is, let us play down on our selfish ambition, so to speak. That is on what you want as committee chairman, minority leadership, majority leadership. Let us play down on all that and talk about the country first. Let us ensure that there is peace in the House. That way, it will even be better because everybody is likely to get more when there is peace. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about individual. And nobody is negotiating anything. No committee is being negotiated. No leadership position is being negotiated by the joint tax. That's not the proper place for that.
Okay, so let's get it clear. So you've bygones are bygones now. You've healed. You've forgiven whoever offended you based on those scenarios.
I had no offense against any individual to talk about forgiveness.
So it was a painful scenario in your political and your National Assembly career, which it might be hurtful, but you're saying that you've moved on.
No, Shehu, it's not a painful scenario. One leader will emerge at every point in time. It's like a contest. If you don't make it, you just keep moving. The important thing is, what have you contributed in the assembly? You must not be chairman of a committee, or you must not be in the leadership for you to contribute positively. And I think I have contributed positively, and I will continue to contribute. In fact, I even feel that I'm more burdened now, having been elected for the 4th time. I should add value to this country. And that is the spirit with which I am going.
So, Honorable, on a final note tonight, your party is contesting Bola Tinubu's victory at the polls. For those who find it ironic that some of the members of the PDP are now working with the APC for Tinubu's, because according to your statement, you said that you are, I'm just looking for where you said that exactly. We are glad that the leadership of the ruling party recognizes the opposition political party in the House and very key in the formation of the next leadership. That's exactly not it. But I would definitely, okay, yeah, there it is. We are aware of the theatrics of the 8th National Assembly, but Nigerians want to see good governance and not grandstanding. Rebellion will deny the incoming Tinubu administration the opportunity to deliver on its mandate and the high expectations from Nigerians. Your party does not believe in Bola Tinubu's mandate or his victory. But here you are, as a leader in the PDP, you are working for Bola Tinubu's incoming administration. So those of your party who said this is ironic, how do you respond to them?
Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes, if I got that question clearly, the joint tax we're talking about has nothing to do with political party. It is an amalgam of political parties. And that does not in any way rule out the fact that I'm a member of the PDP, the major opposition party in the House. But again, like I have said before, and I will say again, the interest of this country supersedes that of any individual or political party. I have been in the House long enough. When Jonathan was president, I'm still a member of the PDP. Jonathan was a PDP president. I recall that even when decisions that we felt were not good enough for this country was taken, we stood against President Jonathan on that decision, particularly the removal of petroleum subsidy. Though today my position is different, but then I believe firmly in the fact that removal of subsidy would be harsh on Nigerians, and we opposed it. That was our own PDP government. So if anybody thinks that, because we have agreed that we are going to jointly ensure that the proper thing is done, the right thing is done, that there is peace and there is fairness in the allocation of offices in the country, that means that the opposition is eroded, the person is making a very huge mistake. The role of opposition will be played and played properly, but then it will also be played very reasonably. And that's why I said constructive criticism.
All right. Let me give Honorable Isiaka the benefit of the final word tonight. What should Nigerians take home from this conversation tonight? Be working together rather against the run of play, isn't it?
Yeah, well, thank you very much once again. And viewers back home, APC is the party, and we've come a long way, and we thank God for where we are placed. And the inauguration of to usher in the new president Ahmed Bola Tinubu, staring at us ahead. And what we're expecting from the side of the National Assembly, I want to start from my federal constituency. I'm sorry to say that. That's for a weekly federal constituency, Ogun State and Nigeria as a whole, is better improved governance in the country, robust debate in the National Assembly. We've come a long way. Now we have more experienced people, though we have many other newcomers, but from the profiles of those that are coming newly that I've seen that they are equally excelled in their respective traits. So Nigeria is on another threshold of greatness to compete favorably in the Committee of Nations in the world.
Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka, a member of the APC representing Ogun State, Ewekoro Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much indeed for coming on tonight.
I appreciate you a lot.
And Honorable Kingsley Chinda, thank you so much, Honorable member of the PDP from River State in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to those predictions that you want to be the leader of the minority in the House. So we see if that is actually the truth or not. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, that's our show for tonight, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday, this time, 8 p.m. Bye for now, everyone.
It's happening live at the TSAS Learning Center. It's the 7 Habits Leadership Camp for Children.
We are really developing the leaders of tomorrow, and we're excited to be doing this here in Nigeria with TSAS. They can control their emotions, and they can make decisions in their life, and it helps them become independent. Teaching them leadership principles, teaching them new paradigms about how they can lead their own life and be leaders of not only their own life, but of others.
We had activity going, we had interaction with the kids. We practiced active empathic listening because this is going to change lives, because it changes the way that our kids think. And I think this is really important for us to see this as an opportunity for us to give something that we want for our kids here in Nigeria.
Register your child today. Visit www.tsas.com/bootcamp to get started.